David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with another fountain pen review. Today I have for you a look at a limited retailer exclusive from Leonardo, and that would be the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande Red Sand. This pen is being offered by the retailer Limited Pens Korea and is the third of 4 releases in their Beaches series. What I'm going to do today is go over the parts and features of the Red Sand, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for about it. I'll show some measurements, size comparisons, and provide a writing sample. Thanks go out to the good folks at Limited Pens Korea for providing this pen for review. In regard to the series of 4 pens, first up there was the Purple Sand, which was inspired by the Pfeiffer Purple Sands Beach in California, which is up in the Big Sur area. I believe this pen has already sold out. Then next up there was the Whitehaven, inspired by Whitehaven Beach, located in Queensland, Australia. The last I checked there was still inventory of this particular model, but chances are they won't be around for long. And what I have right here is the third pen in the series called the Red Sand. And this is what it looks like. The inspiration behind this particular pen was the Red Sand Beach in the Galapagos Archipelago. It's on the northern side of Rabidia, a small volcanic island around 600 miles west of Ecuador. The intense red color of the sand is due to a high rate of iron present in the ashes of the nearby volcano. The beach is frequented by sea lions and lots of other indigenous animals. Like the island, this pen is very colorful. There are swaths of yellow and orange and red and green and even teal. With this much color in the pen, every pen in this series is going to have a distinct look with varying dominant colors. The resin for these pens was created by a gentleman by the name of Tim Crow, who is the man behind the Turnt Pen Company. Tim is based out of eastern New York State, kind of close to the Finger Lakes, if you're familiar with the area. He makes pens of his own, but also creates a lot of colorful custom resins. This particular material is a variation on one of his colorways he offers called Monster Goop. Let's start by taking a look at the top of the cap. It comes to a rounded point. Then we have the clip. The trim on this specific pen is rose gold. It's also available in rhodium trim. I felt the rose gold matched well with the overall color scheme of this particular pen. This is a limited edition of only 37 units. There will be 19 in rose gold and 18 in rhodium. The cap angles up. On the back side of the cap, it is engraved with the company name, Leonardo, as well as the number of the pen. It's rather hard to see this with the naked eye. It's tough even for me to see it with a loupe. It's not that it's so small, it's just the engraving does a good job of blending in with the material. I actually like engraving like that, something that's not so much in your face. Then below that, we have 3 rose gold bands. And below that, there is a step down to the barrel, which begins with another band. The barrel tapers down slightly at first, but then after about an inch, the rate of decline increases until you get to the end, where we have another band, which signifies the beginning of a piston knob, and the end of that knob comes to a rounded point, just like the top of the barrel. The cap twists off with a single rotation, and underneath we have a 14-karat gold nib plated in rose gold to match the rest of the trim. This is a number 6 Yovo nib, which is available in extra fine, fine, medium, broad, a stub, as well as an extra fine elastic nib for a fairly small upcharge. And here's a look at the low-profile sweeping ebonite feed. I've always liked that swooping design of the ebonite feeds that Leonardo uses on their pens. The section begins with a slight flare, as opposed to the stair-step design found on many Momento Zeros and Momento Zero Grande models. This transitions into the resin threads, and then a medium-sized step up to the remainder of the barrel. While I am fond of the stair-step section, this more traditional design really works well for me as well. I tend to grip my pens close to the end of this section, and this flare does a good job of comfortably keeping my grip in place. The cap does post, and it does post securely. The cap is rather light, so I don't feel it backweights the pen or throws off the balance at all if you care to post your caps. Also, I don't find the edge of the cap to feel sharp against the edge of my hand, which is a bit of an annoyance for me on some other pens. Since I previously mentioned the piston knob, you probably deduced this is indeed a piston filler. The pen is inked right now, so I won't activate the piston, but I do find the mechanism to be smooth and operate well. I find it interesting that on this specific pen, some of the barrel material has a slight amount of translucence, just enough to get a look at the internal piston mechanism, enough to see that this is indeed a piston rather than a captured converter or something like that. Since there will be significant variance in this material, I wouldn't expect that all pens will provide that little peak in there. On this particular pen, you're basically seeing the back portion of the piston. It would have been a convenient coincidence if that translucence was more towards the front of the pen and you could use it like an ink window. But like I said, it's more of just a coincidence rather than intentional design. The limited edition Leonardo Momento Zero Grande Red Sand is only available at the Limited Pens Korea website. I will put a link in the notes below where you can check it out, as well as their other offerings. They have been doing a great job working with some manufacturers to provide some interesting limited edition models. They don't offer that many standard pen models. Most are exclusive offerings. The price for this pen is $495. For a Momento Zero Grande with a 14 karat gold nib in a unique quality material, that price is very attractive. On top of that, I believe worldwide shipping is free, so it's nice that shipping doesn't tack on additional costs. I mentioned this is the third of 4 releases in this series. Look for the 4th and final pen in this beach series to be released in a couple of weeks, and I'll be featured on a different pen review channel, so keep your eyes open for that. I've seen it, and like the other 3 in this series, it looks great. Okay, now it is time for some measurements, size comparisons, and a writing sample. So here we go with some size comparisons for the Leonardo Momento Zero Red Sand. Just as a comparison, this is another pen from Limited Pens Korea, which was their Ocean Sunrise model. This was a Brooks material, and you can see that it has a different band and a slightly different shape, but for the most part, it is still a Momento Zero Grande. This is what it looks like in comparison to a standard Momento Zero. This was the Prisma model, which was from Stilo and Stile. And then here it is with a Fiore Grande model. In regard to some other size comparisons, here it is with a Visconti Homo Sapiens. Then here it is with an Opus 88. And then finally, here it is with a TWSBI VAC 700 Iris. In regard to the uncapped comparisons, this is what it looks like with the Homo Sapiens. And then this is the regular Momento Zero. And then here it is with the Fiore Grande. So here we go with the writing sample for the Leonardo. We'll say Momento Zero Grande, and this is Red Sand. And this is a medium 14 karat gold nib. Since this pen is based on a beach, then I felt it only appropriate to use an ink that was also inspired by a beach, which was something from Robert Oster. And that would be Bondi Blue. This is actually one of my favorite blues. I really love this blue. It's nice and vibrant and has some shading to it, a little bit of sheen to it as well. This is what it looks like in comparison to Pilot Iroshizuku Konpeki. I'd say that it's very similar, but just a little bit more shaded. And then here it is with Krishna Peacock Blue. This is what the Robert Oster bottle looks like. They're really nice inks, and I like the fact that it's kind of a long bottle, so you can get just about every nib in there very easily. And here we go with the rest of the writing sample. This 14 karat gold nib is very nice. I enjoy this nib. And did I just run out of ink? Possibly. You know what? I did. I've been writing with this a lot, so let's go ahead and ink this back up. That's the most inopportune time to run out of ink, is right in the middle of the writing sample. But I had the bottle right here. So there we go. Let's see if this works better a little bit now. So yes, it works just fine. So there was nothing wrong with the nib. I literally just ran out of ink. Like I said, I've been using this pen a lot. You can get a fair amount of line variation out of this. I find that the gold nib on this pen is very nice, that there's a decent amount of feedback to it, but then also it's just very smooth as well. It's very generous in regard to flow, in regard to reverse writing. I wouldn't say that that's the strength of this particular nib, but in regard to fast writing, the nib keeps up just fine. So there we have the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande Red Sand. I like this material. I think it's interesting and unique, and also I like the inspiration behind it. So you could take a look at the Limited Pen Korea site to check this out. As I mentioned, this is only going to be 37 units, and so I have a feeling it's going to sell out rather quickly. So if you something you care for, it's best to take action sooner rather than later. Okay, until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.